morning, love bugs. Today is a very special day because it is August 6th, and on this day, 3 years ago, my now husband proposed to me while we were on a hike with the dog. And that was like the happiest day of my life. Even separate from my wedding day, I would take the day that I got engaged over my wedding day. I love my wedding day too. Don't get me wrong, but the day that he proposed, I've never been so happy and so excited. And it was unexpected. I did not think that, which is crazy. I actually think I was wearing this shirt now that I look at this and I remember the pictures. That's really weird. I did not plan that. Anyway, nonetheless, it's also a special day because I don't know if you guys knew this about me, but when I was 22 to 23, I was a 7th grade science teacher in Orlando, Florida. Anyone can teach in Florida if you have your bachelor's degree for 3 years, or at least back then that was the case. And then you have to get some sort of certification. I didn't make it to 3 years. I was this is not for me. But man, I loved my students. And so I actually got a DM today from one of my students that I had in my 2nd year of teaching, and she sent me the picture of her graduating college. What? I literally was holy crap, first of all, she's stunning, and I'm wow, I can't believe that you're graduating. I had to just turn off my Wi-Fi because it kept trying to reconnect, so if there's gaps in this, I'm so sorry. But anyway, she sent me a picture of her with her cap and her gown on, and she graduated college, and I'm just first of all, I'm old, but second of all, what a cool thing. That is so cool that the kids that I taught 7th grade science to, they're graduating college. The world is yours. Go get it. To all of you. I actually saw one of my students popped on my live the other day to a different student, and I saw his name, and I'm oh my gosh, blast from the past, which is also holy crap. These kids are, well, they're not kids anymore. They're adults, but I'm man, they're watching me, and I hope that I am being appropriate. Anyway, I wanted to jump on this IG live today and train you guys because I recently came up with a brand new idea for my next offer. And this is one of my favorite things about what I do is I get to live in such creativity mode where all my sole purpose is to create experiences for women that help them in so many different areas of life and turn it into a program and turn it into this transformation. And it's one of my favorite freaking things that I get to do. So today I wanted to train you, or basically just pull back the curtain on how I come up with an offer idea, what it looks like from real life experience of how I have an idea and then I take it through to making it make sense for an experience for other people. This is all to be said, this is when I create an offer, I'm creating an offer for a group of people. So I do have a one-on-one space where I have private clients, but I have very limited seats in that realm because I give so much to my one-on-one private clients. It's also my highest ticket. So when I come up with an experience and a transformation, my private clients are invited into that for a complimentary price. They don't have to pay. They just get involved if they want to. But I'm not coming up with a specific catered experience to my one-on-ones. I'm coming up with a catered experience to the masses. And the first place that I start is I look at my mastermind. So I have a mastermind. It's called The Takeover. And there's 12 women inside right now. And I pay so much attention to them because I'm working with them on a weekly basis. We send voice messages back and forth to each other. Every week I audit a piece of content for them. We have hot seat coaching calls. I know what's going on in their business. So I'm hyper aware of what's going on for them. And I'm first thinking to myself, if I have an idea, I ask myself, is this going to help the women inside of the takeover? Because also when you're inside of the takeover, you get complimentary access to all of my programs, whether they've been created in the past or any new upcoming experience. So I want to create something that's going to serve them first and foremost. So that's the first thing that I'm asking myself, is this going to serve my paying clients already? Okay, so then I have this idea, and I took notes on this so that I could be organized with this, but I have to first say, when I'm having an idea for an offer, something that I've learned to do, and this has been hard for me to develop this skill because I am certified OCD. That's not a joke. I actually have been diagnosed, and so I'm very rigid. I like organization. I thrive on knowing all the steps. I am very organized. Like I need to know, and I need to have a plan, and I need it to feel perfect. I know that doesn't exist, obviously, but I have overcome my OCD time and time again. But most specifically, I've overcome it in the realm of creating an offer. And the way that I've done that is I don't wait until everything is built inside of this offer or until everything feels perfect. I don't even create the curriculum. Like, I'm not creating videos and workbooks and stuff before people come into my experience. So I will have like an outline, like I know exactly what the transformation is, and I'm going to go through all of those things in a minute, but I will know exactly like what I want to lead. But a lot of what I've mastered is responding to the room. And I don't know how to put that in my marketing, but I do think that's a superpower of mine. Like I sell an experience. I invite people into a program, and with the idea of taking you from A to Z, but all along the while, we'll have live calls, we'll have live interactions, and I study you and your content, and I fill the gaps. Like, I'm like, oh, I thought that they would need this, but they actually need this over here. And so then I create something to fill that gap. So I go into all of my offer creation, just letting my inspiration build along the way. And that used to be a struggle for me. Like I one time spent hours creating like videos and modules and workbooks for a course that people didn't want. And that's where I learned the hard way. So you have to actually know that this is something that people want. Maddie, what's up, my girl? Okay, I admire you so much. I admire you so much. I admire you so much. I love you. All right, so the first thing when I have an idea for an offer, and you need to pay attention to these things yourself, because your offers will like land in your soul, like they land in your heart in the strangest of times. Most of the time, like this is why I prioritize a morning walk, because anytime I'm moving my body, like whether it's I'm dancing or whatever it is, like if I'm moving my body, ideas are just unleashed inside of me. So these ideas don't come from me like sitting down at my desk and thinking, what do I need to sell? Like never have I been able to do that. So I'll be on a walk or I'll be somewhere and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I should turn that into an offer. And the reason that I think I should turn it into an offer is because I know for a fact that that transformation that I want to lead is a personal transformation to me. I've been through it. I can lead other people through it. I have been through the struggle, the pain, the obstacles, and I've gotten to the other side. So that is how I look at what I've already overcome and what I've stepped into, what I've become because of what I've overcome, and I turn that into an offer. So I'm leading from a place of like, I'm highly qualified to teach this because I've been there, done that. Okay, the next thing that I ask myself is, are people going to be interested in this? And one thing that I think we oftentimes overlook is we think that we need like thousands of people or even hundreds of people to be like, yes, I want what you have. And sometimes it's like a matter of just a good handful of people, and they're asking you questions about a certain topic, or they're interested and they like something that you've been talking about, and maybe you haven't even been doing it on purpose. But to be aware, hyper aware, and understand like, why are they asking so many questions about this? Or like, why are they liking all of my pieces of content when I talk about this one thing, even though I thought I was going in this direction? Maybe I need to like get back on the path and reconsider. So pay attention to these things, because sometimes you unintentionally test your people, and what sparks high engagement, you never thought would be an offer. Like you never thought that was going to be where your business went, but use it as a sign. So take it into account. Like this isn't me saying though, like listen to everything that people want and then go create a ton of stuff. You have to be aligned with this as well. And again, the first question here is like, you're coming from a place of, I've been through this and I know how to get to the other side. This is personal to me and I'm highly qualified to lead that old version of myself, which means I can lead you. All right. Then the next thing is I ask myself, like, is this real time relevant? So I ask myself, based on what's happening right now in my life, like based on the things that are going on for me, is this aligned for me to trust myself and show up and serve within this topic? So again, if it's something that I have been through and I'm good at it, but it doesn't really align with where I'm at currently in this era, in this chapter of life, I'm not going to be able to show up and serve 12 out of 10. So I know that about myself, which is why sometimes I'll think about an offer and I'll be like, it's not the right time, or maybe like it's never going to be the right time, and that's okay. But I don't move based off of like this predetermined rigid timeline. I truly move off of what feels like it lights me up in my soul. And if you don't feel that, it's not the right offer. Like, you have to really feel that inside. And the offer that I just came up with the other day actually makes no sense for my business. Like, it makes no sense. It's something different that I haven't offered anything like this all of 2025. But I literally took my idea after I answered like my framework of questions. I took my idea, and I'm a part of a couple different masterminds, but I put it into a mastermind that I'm in, a group of women, business women. And I said, here's my idea for my offer. Based off of what I'm sharing here, does this pique your interest? Because they're all my ideal client. Highly ambitious women who are running a business, like, that's my ideal client. I said, does this pique your interest? And then I asked, what would stop you from joining this offer? So I gave all the information, then I asked very specific questions, which is, again, the power of being in a mastermind, the power of being in a group of women is priceless. So again, that is why the takeover exists. So if you're like, I don't have a group where I can do that, that is why you need to be inside of the takeover, so that you have a space where you can bounce ideas off of people who are going to actually know how to answer your questions. All right. Now, once I've determined all of those things I just listed, I then go into getting very clear on the transformation. And this is step one. Step one is getting very clear on the transformation that I want to provide. So in order to understand the transformation, which seems simple, sometimes it can be the hardest place to start. But I have to ask myself, where's my ideal client at? I always call my ideal client Sally. By the way, I named her Sally. I've never worked with a Sally in my life, but for some reason it's just stuck. So I think about Sally, and I think in my mind, where is Sally right now? What are her pains? What are her struggles? What are her symptoms? Like, what is the circumstance that she's dealing with because of those pains and those struggles? And then I ask myself, where will Sally be after she goes through this transformation? So what is her desire, her result, which I like to call the afterlife? So I fully understand Sally is at a place before she comes into my experience. She goes through all the learning, all of the experience, the entire program. She gets all the magic. Where is she in the afterlife? So after she works with me. And I write these things out. And I write them out like they're long. Like, I fully have like pages of knowing exactly where my Sally is. Then when I determine Sally, so Sally could be, sometimes I literally will think of like clients that I do work with, and I'll imagine their face. I will know their problems, and I name her Sally, but it's like I know exactly who the offer is for. And I do not care about demographics. A lot of times coaches will teach you, like, you need to know their age, you need to know what type of coffee they like to drink. Like, I don't know. That's so weird. Like, I don't care about those things at all. What I really want to know is like what's actually going on in Sally's world, emotionally, situationally, and like internally. That's who I want to work with, because in the past I've thought to myself, like, she needs to be making a certain amount of money per month or whatever. But then I've learned, like, when I first started, like, I was obviously making $0 per month, but I was a killer. Like, I resonated with the beast mode. Like, I resonated with the hustlers. And so if I was overlooked because of how much money I made per month, then I was missed out on as being an ideal client. So I don't think those like external labels and statuses are part of my equation when I'm determining who I want to work with for this offer. So I write down like those things that are more internal and situational. Then I ask myself, what's the real problem? So I'm going to recap these at the end, so just bear with me here, but what's the real problem? She knows, like, Sally understands that she has a problem, and she's been trying to fix it this entire time. She's been trying to find remedies. She's been trying to find like answers and solutions, but there's an underlying cause to why she keeps this problem. This problem keeps becoming like a bigger and bigger thing for her. There's an underlying cause. So it's like the thing underneath the thing. And I don't necessarily put that in my marketing, by the way, which is, I'll close with like the marketing strategy here. But I need to know what that underlying cause is so that when she comes into my world, I can actually fix her problem. I'm not just giving like a problem solution based experience. I'm really getting to the root of what is causing this problem and why she's struggling and how she can solve it forever. So I'm studying that in my own like offer creation. What is the underlying problem and the underlying cause here? Okay, then the last step here for my offer creation is I do come up with like a loose curriculum. So I mentioned that in the beginning of this training where I'm basically just outlining the journey. Like what steps if I were to list out all the steps, what steps do I want to take Sally through? So I know her problem. I know what the transformation is. I know her solution. I know the underlying cause of the problem. Now I want to write out the entire outline, which is basically everything that I did to get to where like the transformation was for me. Because again, I'm coming from like a personal experience here. So when I write out the entire outline of the journey, then I go back and I like take things out. Like where could I actually make this easier? Where could I allow Sally to cut corners? Where could I like collapse time for her if she were to go through this journey? But this is a loose outline. So I don't create any videos ahead of time. I don't create workbooks. I don't create like action items until I then get in the mode of working with Sally when she's paid and now she's inside of this offer. The one thing that I will create ahead of time is the like outline of the kickoff call. I always have a kickoff call for these group programs and they're lit. Like I go all in on my kickoff call. I give so much away. And then I also ask questions. So in real time, like people are responding in my Zoom chat and I'm asking them questions so that I can work and I can move forward based off of what they need and how they respond. I'm very intentional in that way. When people pay me and they come into my world, I'm going to give you what you need. So what I'm focusing on with this loose curriculum, this loose outline, is just basically being very present and recognizing and acknowledging their actual gaps and their actual needs. A lot of times, Sally, like she'll come into my world and she thinks she needs something, but that's not the thing that she needs. I know what she needs and I serve her with that, okay? Now I want to move into, actually, let me recap what I just said. So the FAST framework to move from like having an idea of an offer to then like bringing it to life or like organizing it and making it feel crystal clear is I first write down the transformation. Then I determine who it's for. Then I go through and I make sure that I understand what the real problem is. And then I create my loose curriculum, all in that order, by the way, like very much in that order. You cannot go out of order, or at least I can't. Okay, then I start to think about my content strategy. So if I have this idea for the offer, I'm not going to wait to create content when I launch it or like when I publicly announce the offer. I don't wait to create content for that time frame or that phase. I actually have like 5 phases of a launch, which we're doing right now inside of Sold Out Launch, by the way. We're halfway through Sold Out Launch. If you apply to the Takeover Mastermind and you're accepted and you come into the mastermind, you will be able to catch that second half of Sold Out Launch where I go through the 5-part phases of a launch with the content angles per each phase. It's the craziest. I've never seen anyone teach a launch the way that I teach it. So I don't want to share it all just out of respect for the people who purchased Sold Out Launch. But if you join the mastermind, you get to join Sold Out Launch complimentary. So the most important part though is people always skip the first phase of content when it comes to an offer being created or when it comes to like selling anything for that matter. And I want to go back to the most important piece of creating an offer. It's coming from a personal transformation. It's coming from, I know how to lead this because I've been there myself and I'm qualified. So your content needs to reflect that. You can't just dive into like telling people where they're going wrong or like what they need to do or like educating them. You have to plant seeds in your audience's mind without verbatim saying like, I've been there, done that. You have to tell the stories as if you're writing a freaking book. Like that's how good this content needs to be. And it needs to be about your origin story. This is what I call origin content. You're going to share your story. Like depending on your offer, you want to talk about the first time that you went through this transformation, the first time that you realized you needed a solution, the first time that you knew you were in trouble or like you hit rock bottom or whatever that was. And then you take them through that struggle, like that initial point where you got to the I'm done moment, like I'm done, I need to make change. And then you have to share how you got out of it. Like what What's the bright side of that? Instead of just saying like, I struggled with this, and you're dumping all over them, start to share like, what steps did you take? How did you get out of that rock bottom moment? And allow people to see themselves in your story. And you're going to be like, well, I don't think a lot of people have like been through what I've been through specifically. That's okay. The more specific you can get, like the more explicit and the more raw and real you can get in telling your story, the more people are going to actually see themselves inside of what you went through. Even if they haven't gone through the same thing, they will insert their own story and they will resonate with you. And there's a difference between being like relatable and resonation. Like there's a total difference between those two. You want to resonate with people before you go into your launch and sell people into the experience. You want them to subconsciously believe that you're insanely qualified to take them through a journey where they're going to experience a transformation. I think that's where I'm going to pause on this training. So I just gave you all the juice of how I like come up with an offer idea, and then I bring it to life and I ask myself certain questions, and then I just take action. I start posting, I start telling stories. I'll have different ideas along the way for the experience, and I add it to my notes. Like I have a Google Doc per each offer that I create. But that's the thing is like I am not the type of person that can like just sit down at my desk and sit behind my Google Doc and create something. It's like, it feels very like school. Like it feels like school. And I don't want any of my offers to feel like school. I want them to be like an immersive experience. So I'll go for a walk, or I will listen to like different, because I need time to marinate with this. LOL, good stuff. Yes, exactly. Like I will listen to certain types of music. Like I'm also really like music will light your brain on fire. Like go for a walk and literally walk like you are a hot girl, not just go on a hot girl walk, but be the freaking hot girl. And you'll feel like, holy crap, all of a sudden you're on stage and you're leading a certain topic and it just drops. It just comes to you. Okay. I said I was going to stop there and then I kept going because I love this stuff so much. Like I could talk about this forever. I think it's so important. Like the best thing that I learned in my journey was to enhance my creativity and to realize like there are no rules in this industry of what we're doing. There are no guardrails. And the number one most important thing that you can do is make sure that you, like give everything you've got to the people that are buying from you. Make sure that you give them an experience. Make sure that you help people get results. Even if you just have one person in front of you, the second that becomes your strongest priority and your biggest intention, you're rich AF. Like it's over. It's game over. Like you're going to own the entire market. And yeah, creation it gets to be fun. It gets to be fast. It gets to be flowy. And you don't need more time to come up with an offer. You don't need more like belief. You don't need credentials. You don't need more proof. You just need to trust yourself and you just need to move forward. You're more than qualified to lead, and there are people out there that are less qualified than you and they're killing it and you're just sitting back. So get in the game, sister. All right. Love you. Have a good day. Bye.